Welcome back to Social Science class 10, Political Science, and the name of the chapter is Political Parties. In our tour of democracy, we have come across political parties several times. Since class 9, we have noticed the role of political parties in the rise of democracies, in the formation of constitutional design, in electoral politics, and in making and working of the governments. In this text, we have glanced at political parties as vehicles of federal sharing of political power and as negotiators of social divisions in the arena of democratic politics. So let us start with the explanation of the chapter Political Parties. Why do we need political parties? A political party is a group of people who come together to contest elections and hold power in the government. They agree on some policies and programs for the society with a view to promote the collective good. Parties reflect fundamental political divisions in a society. Thus, a party is known by which part it stands for, which policies it supports, and whose interest it upholds. A political party has three components: the leaders, the active members, and the followers. What are the various functions of political parties? Political parties fill political offices and exercise political power. Parties do so by performing a series of functions mentioned below, like parties contest elections, parties put forward different policies and programs, and the voters choose from them. Parties play a decisive role in making laws for a country. Parties form and run governments. Those parties that lose in the elections play the role of opposition to the parties in the power by voicing different views and criticizing the government for its failures or wrong policies. Parties shape public opinion, and parties provide people access to government machinery and welfare schemes implemented by governments. What is the necessity of political parties? This answer we can give by assuming the absence of political party. We need political parties because they perform all the functions which are mentioned above. Apart from this, political parties help in representing different views on different issues to the government. They bring various representatives together so that a responsible government could be formed. They work as a mechanism to support or restrain the government, make policies, justify or oppose them. Political parties fulfill the needs that every representative government has. Let's move to the next topic of the chapter, that how many parties should we have? In a democracy, any group of citizens is free to form a political party. And in our country, India, more than 750 parties are registered with the Election Commission of India. But not all these parties are serious contenders in the election. We have different party systems in this world, like one-party system, bi-party system, and multi-party system. Now, what is one-party system? In some countries, only one party is allowed to control and run the government. These are called one-party system. This system is not considered as good option for a democracy. As we see the example of China, where only the Communist Party is allowed to rule. Although legally speaking, people are free to form political parties. It does not happen because the electoral system does not permit free competition for power. And we cannot consider one party system as a good option because this is not a democratic option. In some countries, power usually changes between the two main parties. Such a party system is called a bi-party system, where the several other parties may exist. They may contest election and win a few seats in the national legislatures also, but only the two main parties have a serious chance of winning majority of seats to form the government. So, such a party system is called two-party system or bi-party system. The United States of America and the United Kingdom are the examples of the two-party system or bi-party system. The third type of system is the multi-party system. If several parties compete for power and more than two parties have a reasonable chance of coming to power either on their own strength or in alliance with others, it is called a multi-party system. In our country, India, we have a multi-party system. When several parties in a multi-party system join hands for the purpose of contesting elections and winning power, it is called an alliance or a front. Let us move to the next topic, that national parties or the national political parties. Every party in the country has to register with the Election Commission. It offers some special facilities for large and established parties. The Election Commission has laid down detailed criteria of the proportion of votes and seats that a party must get in order to be a recognized party. A party that secures at least 6% of the total votes in an election to the Legislative Assembly of a state and wins at least 2 seats is recognized as a state party. And a party that secures at least 6% of the total votes in Lok Sabha election or assembly elections in 4 states and wins at least 4 seats in the Lok Sabha is recognized as a national party. In our country, we have major 7 national political parties. These 7 recognized national political parties in our country, according to the 2018, are All India Trinamool Congress, Bahujan Samaj Party, Bharatiya Janata Dal, Communist Party of India, Communist Party of India Marxist, Indian National Congress, Nationalist Congress Party. So these are the 7 recognized national political parties which are registered with our Election Commission. Let us start with the explanation and the important features of these 7 national political parties. All India Trinamool Congress, AITC. It was launched on 1st January 1998 under the leadership of Mamata Banerjee. It has been recognized as a national political party in 2016. The party's symbol is flowers and grass. This party committed to secularism and federalism. It has been in power in West Bengal since 2011 and has a presence in Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur and Tripura. In the general elections held in 2014, it got 3.84% votes and won 34 seats, making it the 4th largest party in the Lok Sabha. The next national political party is Bahujan Samaj Party (BSP). It was formed in 1984 under the leadership of Kanshi Ram. Bahujan Samaj Party seeks to represent and secure power for the Bahujan Samaj, which includes the Dalits, Adivasis, OBCs, and religious minorities. BSP stands for the cause of securing the interest and welfare of the Dalits and oppressed people. It has its main base in the state of Uttar Pradesh and substantial presence in the neighboring states like Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, Delhi, and Punjab. It has formed government in UP several times by taking the support of different parties at different times. Next party comes Bharatiya Janata Party BJP. It was formed in 1980 and formed by Shyama Prasad Mukherjee in 1951. BJP wants to build a strong and modern India by drawing inspiration from India's ancient culture and values and Deen Dayal Upadhyay's ideas of integral humanism and Antodhay. Cultural nationalism or the Hindutva is an important element in its conception of Indian nationhood and politics. Earlier, it was limited to north and west and to urban areas. The party expanded its support in the south, east, and northeast and to rural areas also. It emerged as the largest party with 282 members in 2014 Lok Sabha elections. At present, BJP is the ruling party. Next party comes Communist Party of India CPI. Formed in 1925, believes in Marxism, Leninism, secularism, and democracy. CPI opposed to the forces of successionism and communalism. It accepts parliamentary democracy as a means of promoting the interest of the working class, farmers, and the poor. Significant presence in the states of Kerala, West Bengal, Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. It secures less than 1% votes and one seat in 2014 Lok Sabha elections. The next national political party is Communist Party of India Marxist CPIM. It was founded in 1964, believes in Marxism and Leninism, supports socialism, secularism, and democracy, and opposes imperialism and communalism. CPIM accepts democratic elections as a useful and helpful means for securing the objective of socio-economic justice in India. It enjoys strong support in West Bengal, Kerala, and Tripura. The party was in power in West Bengal without a break for 34 years. In the 2014 Lok Sabha elections, it won about 3% of the votes and 9 seats. INC, Indian National Congress, popularly known as the Congress Party, and it is one of the oldest party of the world. It was founded in 1885 by A.O. Hume and has experienced many splits. Under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru, the party sought to build a strong and modern secular democratic republic in India. The ruling party at the center till 1977 and then from 1980 to 1989. After 1989, its support declined, but it continues to to be present throughout the country. The party's main idea is to promote secularism and welfare of weaker sections and minorities. At present, it is playing the role of opposition party. Nationalist Congress Party (NCP). It was formed in 1999 following a split in the Congress Party. It supports democracy, Gandhian secularism, equity, social justice, and federalism. A major party in Maharashtra and has a significant presence in Meghalaya, Manipur, and Assam. A coalition partner in the state of Maharashtra in alliance with the Congress. Since 2004, a member of the United Progressive Alliance. Our next topic is state parties. The Election Commission has classified some of the major parties of the country as state parties. These are also referred as regional parties. Among them, some of the state parties are like Samajwadi Party, Samata Party, Rashtriya Janata Dal, Biju Janata Dal, Sikkim Democratic Front, Mizo National Front, Telangana Rashtra Samiti, and so on. Our next topic comes challenges to political parties. Popular dissatisfaction and criticism has focused on four problems or the four challenges in the working of political parties. These four challenges are lack of internal democracy, dynastic succession, money and muscle power, lack of meaningful choice. Now let us describe these four problems. Lack of internal democracy within the parties. Parties do not keep membership registers. They do not hold the organizational meetings and do not conduct internal elections regularly. The second challenge is the dynastic succession. Dynastic succession is related to the first one, and the most political parties do not practice open and transparent procedures for their functioning. So, there are very few ways for an ordinary workers to rise to the top in a party. In many parties, the top positions are always controlled by the members of one family itself. The third major challenge which is faced by the political parties is money and muscle power. Especially during the time of elections, the growing role of money and muscle power is the biggest challenge for the political parties. Since parties are focused only on winning elections, they tend to use shortcuts to win elections. And in some cases, parties support criminals who can win elections. The fourth challenge is lack of meaningful choice. People do not find parties to be a meaningful choice for their votes. Sometimes people cannot even elect a very different leaders either, because the same set of leaders keep shifting from one party to another. Our last topic of the chapter comes, how can parties be reformed? As we have seen the various challenges, various disadvantages of the political party, or you can say the various limitations faced by the political parties. So for their reformation, some steps have been taken. Some laws have been made. Some of the recent efforts and suggestions are there to reform the political parties and its leaders in India. So some of the efforts have been already implemented, although it has given some side effects also. But let us see some of the efforts, and then after that we will do the 5 important suggestions which are still pending to be implemented. So firstly, the recent efforts. Among the efforts, the 3 efforts have been done by the government, that is anti-defection law, affidavit, and role of election commission. What is anti-defection law? The Constitution has amended to prevent the elected MLAs and MPs from changing parties under anti-defection law. Now, the law says that if any MLA or MP changes parties, he or she will lose the seat in the legislature. This new law has helped in bringing defection down, but at the same time, this has made any dissent even more difficult, because now MPs and MLAs have to accept whatever the party leaders decide. Otherwise, if they leave the party, the defection will be imposed on them and they will lose the seat in the legislature. The next is the affidavit. The Supreme Court has passed an order to reduce the influence of money and criminals. So for that, now it is mandatory for every candidate who contests elections to file an affidavit. In affidavit, they have to give details of his property and criminal cases pending against him. This new system has made a lot of information available to the public, but there is no system of check if the information given by the candidates is true or not. As yet, we do not know if it has led to decline in the influence of the rich and the criminals or it has increased. The third reform which has been implemented is the role of Election Commission. The Election Commission has passed an order making it necessary for the political parties to hold their organizational meetings and file their income tax returns. The parties have started doing so, but sometimes it is merely formality. It is not clear if this step has led to greater internal democracy in the political parties or not. Besides these, some suggestions are often made to reform the political parties. Under the suggestions, a law should be made to regulate the internal affairs of the political parties. Second, it should be made mandatory for political parties to give a minimum number of tickets, about 1/3, to the women candidates. And similarly, there should be a quota for women in the decision-making bodies of the parties even. There should be state funding of elections. The government should give parties money to support their election expenses, as they should not be permitted to use as much money as they want. So there should be a limit for using the money in the election campaigns by the political parties. And there are 2 other ways in which the political parties can be reformed. People can put pressure on the political parties. This can be done through the petitions, publicity, and agitations. And the political parties can improve if people who want change can join the political parties. It is difficult to reform parties if ordinary citizens do not take part in it and simply criticize it from outside. So, the participation of the people is must. These suggestions have not been yet accepted by the political parties. If and when these are accepted, these could lead to some improvement. But we must be very careful about legal solutions to political problems. Over-regulation of political parties can be counterproductive even. and this would force all parties to find ways to cheat the law. Besides, political parties will not agree to pass a law that they do not like. So, unless the political parties agree themselves to reform them, they cannot be reformed. So here we wind up with the chapter Political Parties and its Reformation. Thank you.